our final option here on their apps is really to build an app. Now, building apps, really what that means is you're building a custom document here, and you can kind of effectively do dashboards and do a few things. So you get to work with the Mixpanel data in a bit of a more flexible format, and you can display it in different ways. I've used this myself in the past. Last time I used it, it was a bit wonky. There were a bit of issues. I think it hasn't, it works, but there's a bit of issues on a day-to-day basis when using the reports. I'm not sure if this actually Mixpanel wants to keep, or once again they want to eventually sunset it. But effectively, what you're doing here is, you have an HTML document here. You load a few things, right? So we load some of the Mixpanel platform-specific things like CSS, which lets you style widgets, some of the JavaScript libraries where we can pull data from the API, right? And then we have a few options here in JavaScript for pulling data, showing data, and so on. So all this is you're effectively working with the Mixpanel API with their own libraries to access that. And if you can bring in custom libraries here, which I don't think I have, but something like D3 or Markdown or really anything else, you can put them here, theoretically. And once you have this, you can run the report. And let me see if I can run it, see what that will look like. So this is what it looks like when the report opens. And now we can take, we're loading all our events here, and we get a chart here, right? So we get a chart, and we get a table here. And if we look at the actual HTML, we effectively have an HTML class here. So we have the platform section here, where we can select an event. Then we can select the property. We can do the date. Then we have the graph right here, and then we have the table right here. And then the JavaScript itself is what takes our selections, runs a query with the Mixpanel API, brings the data back, organizes it, and loads it, right? The language itself isn't very complex. It's JavaScript and HTML, and you just get familiar with what different things mean. So for example, here we're querying the segment API, and we get specific data, and then we set the data to the table in the chart. The point is that this really might not be as neat anymore, especially now that we have dashboards in Mixpanel. We have flexible dashboards, and we have a few other ways of displaying data. In the past, this used to be the best way actually to take all your data and put it in one place. This is no longer as relevant. So once again, like a few other things like the revenue report options, it might let you do a few things that might be quite custom that maybe you're not able to do anywhere else. But it's also something that's not as supported from Mixpanel, from my perspective, from my experience. And last time I used it, this might be changing now, but it does look pretty identical to last time I used it. So I don't think it's seen too many changes, right? So another way of working with the Mixpanel data with their API, working with the raw data in a little bit more of a constrained environment, really.